My name is Jim Ryan, and I'm the new Instructional Designer here at EWU. My job here is to take a look at the programs, courses, and people from a different point of view, to see how all these Lego pieces fit, and to imagine how I can help put them together differently to make something new and amazing. Welcome to the Play to Learn podcast.
Today, I'm meeting with Margo Hill, Jackie Wambolt, and Evanlene Melting Tallow, three amazing leaders in the American Indian Studies Club and Department. They are working hard to bridge the gap between several communities that have a long and complicated history. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
So, just for identification's sake, I'm Jim Ryan. I'm here with Jackie, Margo, and Evanlene. Evanlene. Excuse me. Yes, Evanlene. Thank you very much. And this department is, like, the official title is the
American Studies program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, what do y'all do here?
Well, we do a lot. So Evanlene Melting Tallow, I'm your program coordinator and recruiter. So one of the things as a part of my job, I'm also the advisor for the Native American Student Coalition. So I do a lot of programming for students to come here on campus or for community events, work very close with the club. I also do recruiting, so I go out into the community to be able to bring students, high school students here on campus, to provide events for them to be a part of. And then I also go nationally too to a lot of these conferences, like the ACES conference was the American Indian Engineering and Science, so forth, mathematics and stuff. So really kind of work out in our areas, our local tribes here, which is our Spokanes, our Nespers, our Colvilles, our Kalispels tribe. So reaching out to our local communities, providing events for them to come on campus to be a part of this. And I think Jackie can go ahead and speak about the club and the different involvement. But we have been very, very active here on campus. We have had many events. We also bring in students into our center, our Indian Education Center, where we tour them through here. I have 8 work study students, so we're able to keep our center open with them. And then we also have another assistant who is Ernestine Jim. Super, super helpful. Just a blessing for us. So, and then we provide things like fry bread. So we'll have tours through here. We'll have fried bread. We even have like 5th graders here all the way to high school. We'll have nonprofits that will come in that will bring their students. And then we would provide an event for like the basketball. So we'll all go there. Just a lot of great things. And Jackie, you want to talk about the club?
So I am the current treasurer of the club. I was the president at the beginning of the school year and through part of winter quarter. I'm also the powwow chair because our club does host our yearly powwow. And so what we're trying to do with the club is to cultivate a sense of community on campus for not just Native students, but for all students. So we really try to promote everybody's welcome. Please come. We want to share our knowledge. We want to share what we have to share and answer questions that people have of us, and kind of help bridge the gaps between people is what our focus has been this year. And putting on events for the club, we try to have a fundraiser. We've been doing more crafting workshops this year. We had a community crafting circle over winter quarter. Every other week, we just encourage people to come to the center, and I work on various things like beading earrings, loom beading. We have these little like weaving kits where we make little bags, all sorts of stuff. We've also hosted a couple of ribbon skirt and shirt workshops this year. But yeah, a lot of our main focus has just been trying to integrate better with the rest of the campus clubs and also develop a relationship with them so that we are supporting each other with our mutual events. So I noticed that one of the biggest issues that all of the clubs on campus are facing is getting people to come to help volunteer, to set up their events and to get that support and having enough people to come and help get the events up and running, support during the event, so volunteer opportunities. And so we've been trying really hard to keep up with what's going on with other clubs and show up for them, and vice versa. So they're showing up for us too in bigger ways than they have in the previous year, because I've only been here for like a year and a half. So yeah, lots of work towards that endeavor has been our main focus as a club.
And I think the other thing too is about awareness. So the club and the American Studies program, we worked together and we did the Missing Murdering Indigenous Women in Person. And the event was very well attended. We had people from the community, from the high schools. And one of the things I think is really important for that is about awareness. It is National Day. And so the awareness for us in the club is about activism. Right?
Yes.
So
very much activism.
Yeah.
Same with our event that we had at the beginning of the school year, the Every Child Matters event on September 30th. We had an event for that, and that's where we discussed the boarding school and residential school issues that our community has faced. And again, yeah, spreading awareness and activism. There isn't much about people of color's existence that isn't political. And so spreading that awareness and gaining allies in the community, and not just on campus, but in the greater Spokane area, is also part of our goals. And we've also connected with the Red Nations program at SFCC. Since they have a lot of students that come here, we figured that creating a relationship with them would help encourage the Red Nations Club students to come to the Native American Student Coalition once they transfer to Eastern, and just developing that relationship more, and also utilizing their help, support, and resources that they have in the community, and vice versa, so that we can both uplift each other instead of struggling independently.
And I think the other thing that's really important too is that just this year we were able to have a food cabinet. And so why is that important? Because one of the things that we have here is that we're open for students that come Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And so we have a cabinet downstairs. We also had donations from another nonprofit. And so they're able to come in anytime to be able to get food. And then the other thing we do too is we have gone to powwows, so like the Healthy Heart Powwow, and then we would put little bags together with food in it. And so we're also promoting Eastern at the powwow, but we're also giving away food, giving information about our food cabinet here to the community, because it is open to the community, faculty and staff and students. So we're also doing a lot of awareness. We also have fundraising too. So the money that we would be able to raise that goes to the foundation, then that money we'll be able to use to buy produce, milk, eggs, and so forth. So that's another fundraising thing that we try to do. So I think we're mostly, Jackie, don't you agree? We're really community centered. And we have a lot of resources out in the community. So we really try to reach out and find out all the resources.
Right. We kind of a way to help bridge gaps. And I think it's just really good experience, and it helps people, helps students especially, to learn how to network and how to make those connections, because this is an important part of how we function outside of college. So it's not just what you do here at the university, but these are like really good pathways to the rest of your life in conjunction with what you're doing with your degree program too. So there's a lot of things that we consider.
Yeah, and the other thing I think that's been really important, not only for our students here that come to the center, our work-study students, or students who are in the club, is their leadership skills. One of the things that I think is really important for all these students is understanding what it is to create events, right? To do the networking, because it's such a big picture. When you put an event together, it's huge. So there's many nuances that you have to do, right? And then all the students are really up to date with media, right? And all kinds of social media, right? And so they teach me a lot, I will be honest with you. But I think that's one of the things that's really important, because when these students learn these different types of techniques or tasks, that leadership skill, and then they can also put on their resume. I have many years had work study students, so I still get called as a reference. It's because of all their skill sets that they learn. I know Jackie has done a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Jim, my name is Margo Hill Ferguson. I'm a Spokane tribal member, and I grew up out on the Spokane Indian Reservation. You know, one of our primary focus, of course, is academic success. When our students come to the university, we know it can be hard coming from the reservation community, and we just want them to be successful in their coursework. So one of the important things that we do here at the American Indian Studies program is really build community. Evanlene and other students are always talking about the support services, where we can go if we need tutoring or the writing center or the library, just really being big brothers and big sisters to the new students that come on campus. We offer a course load in American Indian Studies. We have Native American Studies 101, which is just basically introduction. We also have contemporary American Indian Studies, and we have a number of adjuncts from different tribal professors that come in and teach our courses. And so it's really an opportunity, not just from some Native American students that don't know a lot about tribal history or the basics of federal Indian law and policy, but also all of campus. It's a gen ed, so all of the students on campus have an opportunity to take American Indian Studies classes and learn more about the culture and history of the indigenous peoples of this land. So lots of things happening here at the American Indian Studies program.
I think there's a lot of opportunities that will hopefully help build this up coming up. You have to forgive me because I'm new here at EWU and I'm also new to some of these issues, so I'm learning as well. So if I misspeak on anything, please forgive me. But I did have the opportunity to speak with Christy Gilchrist in the office grants up there. And I talked to her because I went to this event that the president was speaking at, where she was requesting the community come up with ideas to bring in more support for EWU and have EWU support the community even better. And Christy brought up this point that for some reason it was kind of lost in the fog as everybody was asking questions. But she said that the tribes in Washington are the number 6 employer in the state.
Yeah, quite often, if you look locally and let's say local Airway Heights, you have the Kalispel Tribe of Indians, clearly the largest employer in Airway Heights and the Spokane Tribe. So often in whether it's Spokane County, we employ huge numbers. And again, as mentioned, we have 29 tribes in the state of Washington. In whichever county, they're often the highest employer. You know, whether it's enterprises like Spoko Fuels or the casinos and our hotels, we provide a whole range of employment opportunities throughout the region.
Yeah, one of my friends actually just got hired to the Spokane tribe working with the land management and stuff and biology. She's working as a biologist for the tribe. And so those are the kind of jobs that are available too, people who are getting into land reclamation projects and rehabilitation and promoting indigenous native plant wildlife is also a huge part of what tribes do in this state. So
Yeah, a thing too is that we were supposed to Idaho. So the Coeur d'Alene tribe, right, is the second largest employer, right? Kootenai Hospital is the first, but it's really such a big boost, right, for people to understand that our tribes around here do have a lot different employment. They diversify. So it's not just only casinos, it's other things that they have businesses in. So people always think it's only casinos. No, it's much, much more.
The Eastern Washington University has partnered with the Spokane Tribe, as mentioned in biology. We educate and hire the biologists. With this partnership, Al Schultz was our professor here at Eastern. He's professor emeritus and just did an amazing job supporting some of our native students that went back to the tribes and then worked at the fish hatcheries. And so there's amazing work being done. If you look at UCUT, Upper Columbia United Tribes, it's the 5 tribes surrounding Spokane, the Spokanes, Kalispels, Colvilles, Kootenays of Idaho, and Coeur d'Alenes. And it's amazing opportunity for our students. If we make that connection with the local tribes, the Spokane tribe has a scientific water lab called Shimmikin Creek Laboratories. And so they'll hire our students. You know, there's lots of opportunity if we make those connections with the tribe. And I will say it's important that the university think about our relationship with the tribes because they pay the student tuition. None of our students come here free, right? Sometimes it's a myth that we get this or that for free, but really our tribes help us come to school. Not all tribes have the money for that, but a number of the tribes in Washington state pay directly to Eastern Washington University for their students to come here. If it's Kalispel Tribe or Colville Tribe, Yakima Nation, Tulalip, Puyallup, those tribes directly pay the university for their students to attend Eastern Washington University.
Yeah, I think with this and the conversations that were had, again, there's this big opportunity for this collaboration between the tribes and Eastern Washington University to build up really both communities. Because as you stated, there are a number of very critical businesses that are being run through these tribes. And one thing that had been discussed earlier with Christy and Jackie is that this institution here, you're facilitating, would be that bridge. I mean, it would be a crucial bridge, not only for bringing members of the tribe in and then specializing in a field of STEM or English or accounting and business, and then have that ability to go back to their origins and help up their communities grow, but also a way for maybe students who are already in those fields coming into also this program and learning about the sensitivities and the history and how to integrate those types of relations and then be sensitive to that if they're able to go and work in those communities as well.
Right, yeah. These aren't just job opportunities and programs that are only for Native American students or for everybody. And it's really important for non-natives to come into these circles and learn these things so that, yeah, they can be more sensitive and understanding and aware of what is happening around them. You know, there is such a divide. So many people just don't know. They aren't even aware that we go through these things every day. Right. And so I think it's really important in that sense. Yeah, like you said, to bridge those gaps too, and to encourage other people to help boost up and come into the tribal communities, learn how to be sensitive and conscientious of what they're doing, and fuel the mission, fuel the goals that tribes are trying to do and why they have these industries in the state and why they're becoming so big.
There's specific advantages to having businesses in tribal lands. There's different sets of rules. At Gonzaga, I was a party to a lot of the water rights law discussions that happen there. And so you get to hear all these different issues that come up. And some things are easier to do some places and some things are easier to do other places. And so building up businesses within the tribal community, obviously there's the casinos that everybody knows, but like you said, there's the
Shimmick Creek Laboratory.
Yeah, the laboratories and then the gas.
Spoko
fuel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Innovative, companies that have a lot to contribute. And so those companies can be built up, more companies. So it's really just helping build off each other and coming together as a community. And making this a more culturally relevant location was also another discussion. Bringing people in from all across the United States to come here and see what's going on, see the good work that you're doing, and help repair some of those bonds that have been severed over time.
Yeah, it's all about education. And I think that's one thing that I think is really important, because when you are trying to understand different cultures, right, it's good to understand their history, but it's also to understand the present and the future. So as we work with students and help them not only on the campus, right, in the community, understand what does this mean? What does education mean? When you come here, how are we going to help support you? It's about, for me, that recruiting part of it, but it's about retention and completion. That's a big part of this, because when we get students here, we have to make sure that they have community. We have to make sure that they have resources where their needs are, right? And then helping them look for scholarships. All that is really more of a wraparound service for these students. And then having the club to be able to have them talk to students who are taking classes here at EWU. I think that's really, really important, because when we provide a safe place for these students, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable. They're going to have community. They're going to be able to study here, we'll all help them to be able to do the completion part of it, or at least find out if there are barriers, what are other community resources that they have out there that will be able to assist them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed a lot of success in our endeavors as a club. Like I said, to build that community and bridge those gaps. We have had a lot more students who are not work study students or club members come in and just hang out and study with us. More people who are curious. And so once more students come in, that fear and the trepidation and the uncertainty starts going away more and more and more. And they go, oh, this is a great place to be. This is a great place to relax. I think one of the best things that was said at one of the community crafting circle events, while we were sitting there weaving our little mini bags, they said, this is really nice just to be able to come here and do an activity that's busy, but I can sit here and talk about what's going on in my life right now. And I feel comfortable to share. Even though I didn't know them, I'd never met them before, we shared a lot of personal experiences and things we were going through on campus. And they were not made of students. I think they came from ASCWU club. And it was just a really lovely experience to be able to have that safety and that community in that moment. And I want to have more of that happening. It'd be really beautiful.
Yeah, I can imagine, because like you were saying earlier, there's a lot of, I want to say, cultural trauma related to boarding schools and what has happened in this country, more or less. And then trying to rebuild that trust, understanding all that historical trauma is still there and how it can be overcome. And that, unfortunately, in a lot of cases has led to all these communities are living parallel to each other, but not really interacting as much. And so there's a lot that people in this community may not know and that they should know.
Right. And that is another aspect of community building that we have been very mindful of in the past. Last year, previous leadership really focused a lot on the activism, which is very important. It is very important to share that information and to make people aware of what we go through every day. It gets very, very heavy. It's heavy for us to have to talk about it and to have to share and to talk about these traumatizing stories that we all go through, we've all experienced, just so that people can have even a little bit of sympathy, right, to connect in that level. And it's heavy for people who don't know that it's happening. It can be shocking. And to just constantly bombard people with that doesn't necessarily make them feel safe to be here just in this space. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so much that I didn't even know. And it's like traumatizing me to feel so bad that this is happening. I don't know how to handle this. I don't know how to cope. And so there's that layer to it. And so this push to do more relaxing activities, things that, it's like how we heal our trauma is to engage in our community and events, crafting circles. We get together with each other and we bond and we create and we make. And then incorporating people into that too. It's like, yes, we have this. It's sad. It's awful. It shouldn't happen to anyone, but we are still resilient and we are still full of love and kindness and compassion. And we want to share that with you too. Please come and join us. Like you said, we live in parallel. We don't need to do that. We can live together and we can integrate more effectively, being more mindful of how to share the love that we have.
Yeah, and part of that sharing, another part of the conversation was bringing some of that culture to some of the other departments, like having a guest lecturer from one of the tribes who specializes in something. I think Christy mentioned basket weaving, come in and do that with art. Somebody who's involved with the water laboratory, come into the chemistry department or engineering. Having guest lecturers from these different communities, being able to come in and give those different perspectives and show students how what they're doing will affect these different communities, I think is also really important.
Yeah, Jim, that's a really good point. And sharing that education, just yesterday or Monday after our MMIW event, I went and spoke to the capstone class for anthropology and archaeology, really helping all of our students understand tribal sovereignty. Our tribal sovereignty predates the Constitution. We have inherent tribal sovereignty, but also it's recognized as part of the United States Constitution. We are separate sovereigns. Here in Washington State, we have something called the Centennial Accord, in which the state of Washington, in addition to the Constitution and United States treaties, recognizes the sovereign authority of tribes. And so I think it really benefits our students, all Eastern students. For example, if you're a criminal justice major, to understand tribal sovereignty and federal Indian law and jurisdiction. For many years here at Eastern Washington University, we have had sovereignty through sustainability, where we invite our biologists and our attorneys and all of our experts, our hydrologists and tribal leaders to come onto campus and share really what's happening in natural resources. Local tribes have been working to bring back the salmon to our Spokane River and Columbia Rivers. And so there's lots of opportunities to work together. And as you mentioned, water law. There's water law cases specific to American Indian tribes. Again, we predate many of the local jurisdictions. And so our water rights predate those of many cities. So it's important for our students to understand that and understand what tribal sovereignty is. When Evanlene and the students, when they have events on campus, it's also just a great time to invite the community onto campus. I can just picture, there was a few years ago where the powwow up at Reese Court, and there were 5 little Indian girls, and they were posing by the eagle. And they were all just happy. And for people to know that Eastern Washington University is a great place to come to school, it's a great learning environment, and there's lots of opportunities for Natives.
Yeah. And I did say one to kind of piggyback off of that is that when we have our powwow, we open it, it's everybody. And I seem to have more people from the community that are non-native that come. And so one of the things that we really try to do with the education part of it is that we have like a QR code, and that goes to our website where it talks about powwow etiquette, the different types of regalia. So people were able to do more of a safety on their phone, to read about it and then see the different types of dance and traditional, fancy grass dance, right? And then they can read that information. And then we have the agenda all day, what's going to be occurring. I think it's really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then to add to that too, a powwow etiquette type stuff, things like, how do I behave here? What is okay for me to do, right? And I know a lot of people like to take pictures of events that they attend. And one of the really important things that we'll talk about, and we plan on actually incorporating this onto our Instagram page, where we have do's and don'ts, or please do this, please try not to do this, just educating more on that realm. And it's like, don't take pictures without permission. All it takes is a simple question. Can I please take a picture of you in your regalia? You look amazing. And you get a yes or no. If you get a no, you move on, and that's okay, right? And encouraging people just to ask questions and not be afraid to do that. And take it with a grain of salt too. Not everybody's going to appreciate the question, but there are people who will be more than happy to answer or to oblige. Speaking of which, a powwow is coming up on the 31st, and our volunteer forms are officially out. I've sent multiple emails to various faculty and staff, so people are more than welcome to sign up. If you have questions, you can go to your respective club advisors. I've sent them out to numerous, or you can email me at jwambolt@EWU. I will send you a form, and we will get you a schedule lined up. But yeah, we encourage people to help us with that too. It's a really great way to just learn about what we're doing and to be involved. Also, you'll learn how to set up a teepee. It's always fun.
And can you do the date and location of that again one more time?
The date is May 31st at Reese Court. Powwow is set for about 1 to 10, 11 p.m. So it is an all-day event. We do need volunteers for the early morning setup, and we do need volunteers for Friday the 30th and June 1st, the day after. We do setup and tear down the day before and day after. So it's a big deal.
Well, we also provide dinner too.
Yes, there's always food, and the more volunteers we have, the easier it is for us to kind of make sure people are getting breaks and taking time to just relax and kind of enjoy the atmosphere too, because there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things to consider, especially day of powwow, and there are a lot of cultural things that we take into consideration. One of our volunteer positions is literally helping elders around the powwow, and that is very important. We need people to help them and guide them around and show them where to go. So as a little taste, a little sample. And then we have a Bipoc workshop coming up too. Is that next week?
Yeah, it's next week. And so it's for Black Indigenous people of color. And so I wrote a grant. So I've been doing this for like 18 years. So I always listen to my students. So what this grant is for those students to be able, like we had tenants law, where we had scholarship and writing essays, where we work with the different organizations like the Writing Center. And then the one that we're going to have next week is that we're working with the Career Center, where they're going to talk about resumes, internships, and jobs, right? So then we have a list of past participants and we advertise it so that we're able to get students to be able to attend. So it's all free. They get fed and they also get money too. So if you attend, it depends how many students attend different workshops. They also get paid too. And I always have some type of EWU swag, right? So the whole thing for the students is that each one of these different workshops are to be able to help them to be successful here at Easter and also in our community.
Yeah, I actually just last week talked with Ramel. Ramel and I go way back. He was at my wedding, actually back in like 2008. I've been friends with him for a long time. He's a super, super great guy, really motivated to help the students succeed, really motivated. So that's great to hear. Growing up here, I grew up in Suncrest, out in 9 Mile.
Yeah.
And I think my big regret is that the only real exposure that I ever had to Native American culture was during the 4th of July. You'd run out to Ford and you grab some fireworks, or sometime during the summertime there'd be a powwow in Riverfront Park, and I think maybe we went once or twice, but I don't want that for my daughter.
Yeah.
I want for her and for these other students to have a place to come where they can have exposure to different cultures that are literally here.
Yes.
And be able to see that. So that's my regret, and I want to fix that for the next generation.
Yeah.
Well, it's not too late. And there is an opportunity for you to learn how to speak Salish. The Salish School of Spokane does offer community classes.
Well, my wife is Indian from India, and I can't even.
It's a pretend yours.
Yeah, Hindu, yeah, and I can't even pretend to pronounce anything in Marathi because my mouth doesn't work that way.
It is challenging. My boyfriend's from Punjab, and
Oh, really? Okay.
I keep trying desperately to get him to teach me how to speak his language, and he's just like, "It's so hard," and I'm like, "Please, I would speak more." But yes, it's good. It's good to try.
But I'm happy to listen, happy to learn, and any opportunity I get, and so I just really wanted to come and meet you and see what I can do to help. Really.
Yeah. And we have a newsletter that the club puts together every month. So it has all our different events. It also has pictures of things that we've done in the past. It also has, if you can't make it to the club meeting, you could Zoom in. So trying to give you different opportunities to be a part of the club, the events that we're having, scholarships that are out there. So just a lot of different variety of different things. It's club-based. The writers are club members, right? So really having the Native American Student Coalition to take this on, it's been huge, very successful.
Yeah, the club has done really good. So I'm proud of all of us. I did want to say specifically a couple of things, that our weekly meetings are 5 to 7 every Thursday. So if anybody can make it, you're more than welcome. We invite you to come down and see what we're doing and just hang out with us. Also, our most recent newsletter that just went out has information for a scholarship, the Lucy Covington Scholarship for Native American students. The deadline on the paperwork says May 1st, but it has been extended to the 15th.
30th.
To the 30th?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been extended to the 30th. And any Native student is highly encouraged to apply to it, get your information, get that application, and go from there. But yeah, it's really important. We want more students to do that. So I can't think of anything else right now.
No, I think that's a fantastic note to end on. And so I just want to thank you both for taking the time. I know I've been trying to get out here for a minute, but you've been so busy with all the different events and graduations and whatnot. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to get a chance to talk with me.
Yeah, thank you for coming and doing this. Actually, the more we can get info out there, the better,
Yeah, we're doing a lot of great things, and it's really for our community here. Not only here on campus, it's also for the community in Cheney and beyond that. So having things that are already in place and a history of it is super helpful because people will be able to see that, what we're doing, and to be able to understand that when you come here, you do have a place. You have a place here that we would be able to welcome you, help you, and guide you.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.